Okay.
Hi there, this is Loren
And
Fogelman
Stephen Fogelman,
with Business Success Solution.
how you doing?
Yeah, you want to talk about our topic for today?
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about networking and about whether networking is working for you and how to make it work better for you.
Right. The other day I was in a Facebook group, saw someone's post about how they're doing all this networking. They need clients. They don't really feel that networking works for them for whatever special circumstances they have.
Hmm.
And then I decided to jump in with an answer. Before I go to my answer, though, I just wanted to see if there was anything else that you wanted to add to the conversation about the problems that people see with networking.
Um, no, I'd like to talk about what we can do as far as networking goes.
Right, right. Also,
Hmm.
that networking does take some effort. With this person, it sounded like they were putting in the effort. They were going to different events. They were possibly doing things online. However, it wasn't getting clients for them.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So what was the problem that they were saying?
Well, the problem was that they needed more clients.
Hmm.
They were doing all these things. However, they weren't seeing any clients coming, new clients coming as a result of all the things that were coming. And when you don't have enough clients, then you really don't have a business, so to speak, because
Hmm.
you need clients to have a business.
Right.
And the other part is that when you don't have enough clients, you don't have enough of the right clients, it creates a cash flow issue as
Hmm.
well.
Right.
Mhm.
Plus, I can imagine that when you do that, it puts you in that kind of this desperation position. And so you're coming from a very different place because part of the process with networking is that you have to have a good intention.
Yeah, yeah. We were talking about the intention the other way, and
Hmm.
client desperation is never a good place to
No,
be
no.
because you have all this angst, you're worried. There's this underlying energy that you bring to networking, whether it's in person or virtual. People pick up on it.
Hmm. Yeah,
It is
yeah.
client repelling. It doesn't get people to you that you really want to work with.
Right, right. And the other, my other pet peeve about the whole networking thing is that, I don't think that networking is selling. And so I say not, it's networking, not net selling. So you're really not there to sell. You're really there to build basically a relationship.
That's really the key piece is about this net selling versus networking.
Hmm.
Do you want to maybe go a little bit more into it?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about when you go to a networking event, what's the
Mhm.
first thing that people do is they stick a business card in your hand.
Ooh, that's
And
not very client
oh,
attractive.
no, 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 I don't like that because for me, I need to have a relationship and I need to have the whole know, like, and trust factor before I'm even going to be talking to you. And the next thing I know is you're sticking a business card in my hand and I just want to walk away.
Right, right. Some people think that the more business cards they give out, the person who gives out the most business card wins.
Wins, exactly.
And
Yeah.
I think more like loser.
I agree. Thank you.
The
Putting it right in front of my face.
it's down here.
Okay.
What I find is that if I meet someone and all of a sudden all they're doing is trying to pitch me, trying to sell me, trying to stick a business card in my hand when I didn't even ask for one, I'm walking away from that conversation with not interested.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I feel sometimes after those conversations, I need to go home and take a shower.
Right. Because they feel very oily.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't feel
No,
very
no, no.
in. Uh, it didn't feel very engaging. They weren't concerned at all about me.
Right.
All they were thinking about was themselves.
Right. Right. And they look at you as if you're a dollar sign, which I really don't like either.
Right. Those people though are the
Mhm.
ones that go home and saying networking doesn't work
Right. Right.
because they come in with the intention of wanting to pitch, wanting to have a sale, as opposed to wanting to engage. And as you were saying earlier, build those relationships.
Hmm. Right. Right. So I'm gonna just reiterate. So it's good to go into a networking event and have an intention. So Lauren and I went to a networking event, I guess
Yeah,
about
I think we
a couple of
talked
weeks
about this
ago.
before. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I told you that my intention was I wanted to meet five people, and within like walking into the room, like I already met five people, which was really good. My other intention was that I didn't want to have just superficial conversation. I really wanted to have somewhat of a deeper
Hmm.
relationship with the people that I was talking to. And a lot of that was kind of based on the questions that I was asking. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't talking about the weather. It wasn't talking about politics. It was really asking them about, something about them, or like
Mm-hmm.
who's their mentor, or who do they admire, or things like that. And, those conversations go deeper.
Mhm. Right. Sandra, thanks for joining us. What I would say, Steve, is that's probably one of the problems that a lot of people have when they network, whether in person or virtually, is they just don't know what to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions that you think are great conversation starters for the ones that want to start a conversation, but they don't even know where to begin?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think first of all, I think that there's two ways. I mean, there's a networking
Mhm.
for people who are introverts, and then there's a networking for people who are extroverts.
Right, but let's just go right to the questions. If someone wanted the questions, what are some questions that might be helpful to have in your back pocket as a conversation starter?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, one of the questions is, you could, you're both there for a particular purpose, a particular event, and you can talk a little bit about that. But I like to go a little bit deeper and ask them, like, who their mentors are, who they follow, who they admire, who they appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
And what
Okay.
about you? What do you think?
When I go to networking events, I definitely like having some questions that I'm going to be asking people as conversation starters, because going into a room where I really don't know anybody and trying to start a superficial conversation doesn't really work well for me. I don't like the superficial part very
Mm-hmm.
much at all.
Right.
However, I do want to connect with a couple people, and that's the first thing. I'm not looking to meet everybody in the room. I just want to really meet a couple of the right people in the room.
Right.
The questions that I like to ask when I first meet people is, how did you get to do what you're doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good
And there's
question.
a story there. Then I get to hear the story of how they went through this path
Right.
to get to do what they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
It usually from that conversation or that answer, there's maybe something where there's commonality, I can relate to it, and then I can have another question that comes out of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Another one that I like to ask also is if there's any particular projects that they're currently working on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I would say off the top of my head, those are two that I usually have in my back pocket to start conversations and be able to get something going, because now I'm finding out about them, I'm learning about them. People really enjoy sharing their story of how they got to be doing what they're doing. It is a great way to break the ice.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And making it about them, you want it to be like 70% about them and 30% about you, because you really wanting to get to know who they are.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's true. There's a lot of times when I meet people and they never, ever, ever ask me anything about me.
Oh,
They just get
yeah.
talking about themselves and they're good to go.
Right.
And then when they're done talking about
They walk
themselves,
away.
they're putting a business card in my hand and they're working on to somebody else.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, and one of the things I like to do is I like to try to meet, like I was saying, the 5 people. And then at the end of the event, I like to try to figure out who I can introduce, like who I can network with and who I can be a connector for. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference about going in and being the being the networker, or you can actually go in and be the connector. And I
Mm-hmm.
like to be the connector.
Mm-hmm. Right. That actually just happened to me today, where I went to a networking event about maybe 3 weeks ago, ended up having a connection call with somebody that I met there. So it was an in-person event. We got on a Zoom call. We had a conversation. I learned more about what she does. She learned more about what I did. She mentioned something to me. And I'm like, I know someone that might be a good connection for you.
Yeah, yeah.
I ended up actually connecting her or introducing her to this other person. And then I got an email earlier today about just thanking me for that connection. It looks like it's someone where they might be able to share some business back and forth. And now she's asking me, and what can I do for you?
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So I would say networking is not net selling, as you said. It's about really net connecting.
Right.
And really building out those connections. You never know what might happen as a result of that. And going back to that person in the Facebook group that was saying, I need clients, this isn't working to me, they're going to a lot of networking events.
Right.
My response to them was that they're going out there, they're busy, they're very, very active networking and meeting people, but the things that they're doing aren't effective.
Right.
They are going there with the intention, as you said, of selling, of trying to close someone, of getting new clients. They might have some of that energy they're putting out of desperation that they need clients. That's coming through in their undertone. People are picking up from that. And as a result, they're just convinced that networking doesn't work. What she needs to do is to do things that are more effective, focusing on building relationships, meeting people, and then, as I did with this other person, having maybe a deeper conversation outside of the event to get acquainted, find where there might be some synergy, where you might be able to help that person, make another connection for them. And from that, it just really is good business karma. And things come because you're showing up to give first. And giving first is a much way to go. And expect to give before you can expect to get.
Right, right. It's like the giver's game.
Absolutely. Anything else that you want to add to this?
No, I think that that was really good.
Great. I would love to hear from you guys as to how does networking work for you? What are some of the strategies that you found that really make networking effective?
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
Yeah, we would love to learn from you also. It's not like it's one and done with us.
Right, right, right.
Please go ahead and leave that in the comments section as to what you found to make networking effective. If you know someone that could benefit from our conversation, please tag them. Once again, hit the likes button if you took anything away from this.
Right.
And feel free to go ahead and share it also. And then we have an upcoming deep dive training on client attraction marketing secrets on Thursday, March 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It is in our Facebook group, Business Success Solutions for Accounting Professionals. Once again, join our Facebook group, Business Success Solutions for Accounting Professionals, and then get the deep dive training on client attraction marketing secrets. I will put the link to the group in the comments section. Loren Fogelman.
Stephen Fogelman.
Where we help entrepreneurs double your income.
Working half the time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.